On a cold New Year's Day, snowflakes were gently falling from the sky. Everyone was busy preparing for the new year. The city was decorated with colorful lights, and the bright star on top of the Christmas tree made everyone happy. People wearing thick coats didn't forget to put on scarves and hats. Some were going to the market to shop, while others were trying to make it home. Of course, there were children running around joyfully, having snowball fights. Their cheerful laughter echoed through the streets. But on the other corner of the street, there stood a little girl, different from the other children. She didn't have a thick coat or a woolen hat on her head. She was wearing only a torn, thin dress and oversized slippers on her feet. All alone. Though the cold was biting and making her shiver, she was watching the children play snowball fights with a smile on her face. One of the children mockingly shouted, "Look, the match girl is here again." She really was a match girl. With her eyes wet from the cold and holding her thin cardboard box, she stood on the same corner every day, trying to sell matches to people. With her shaky and delicate voice,
"I have matches! Would you buy some?"
she called out to the people passing by, but no one heard her, and they didn't even see her. As she tightly held the box, which had become icy from the cold, she heard the sound of a car quickly approaching her. When she turned her head and looked, she saw that the car was about to hit her. Her face froze under the light of the headlights. A man shouted, "Get out of the way!" The girl quickly threw herself to the side of the road. As her weak body was thrown to the ground, her slippers flew off her feet and the box fell from her hand. The matches scattered everywhere. When she stood up and looked, she saw another child grabbing her slippers and running away. "Hey, those are my slippers!" she shouted after him, but the child quickly ran away. The little girl began to helplessly collect the scattered matches. Then she moved to the side of the wall and tried to sell matches for hours on her bare feet.
"I have matches. Would you buy some?"
But no one paid any attention to her weak voice. The match girl's eyes filled with tears as she felt the icy ground under her feet. If only she could sell a few matches, she could go home and have at least a bowl of hot soup. The poor girl, her hands reddened by the cold, brought them to her face and began to cry. Because she hadn't sold a single match that day, the little girl, who was struggling to stand, couldn't hold on any longer and sank to the wall, crying. She opened a matchbox and took out a match. With her frozen fingers, she barely held the match and struck it against the wall. The match immediately caught fire. A small orange light illuminated the little girl's face. The poor girl tried to warm her hands with that tiny flame. In that moment, she found herself in a warm room, sitting in front of a roaring stove. She was wearing a thick coat and furry slippers. Her hands were no longer cold. She had gotten so warm that she had even started to sweat. Then, the match in her hand went out. With the little fires extinguishing, that sweet dream also ended. The girl lit another match. At that moment, a cold wind blew. She quickly turned her face toward the wall and shielded the flame with her hand. As she watched the flame quietly, the wall in front of her slowly disappeared. In its place, a large, warm room appeared. On the table covered with a white cloth, There were all kinds of food, and around it sat kind-hearted people with smiling faces. One of them invited the match girl to the table. Another cut a piece of roasted meat from the plate in the middle and offered it to the girl. The girl thanked them and started eating the meat. At that moment, she felt as if she were not only satisfying her hunger, but also fulfilling her longing to eat with a big family. There were cheerful laughs at the table, and everyone was offering the New Year gifts they had received to each other. One woman asked, "Would you like some mashed potatoes too?" The girl's eyes filled with tears, and she smiled shyly, because this woman looked just like her mother. The little girl ate some of the mashed potatoes and also drank a warm bowl of soup. In that moment, all her hunger had gone away. For the first time in a long while, she felt so full. At that moment, she smiled, feeling safe and loved. Then, she reached for a piece of the chocolate cake on her plate with her fork. But at that moment, the match she was holding had burned out. As the match girl's fingers burned, her dream ended all at once. The smiling faces vanished one by one, and the beautiful table was replaced by stone walls. The cold, snowy air and that great silence surrounded her once again. But on the little girl's face, there was still the trace of the brief happiness she had just felt. She lit another match right away. This time, she felt a strange excitement inside. She closed her eyes with the flame of the match and began to dream. It was a summer night. She was sitting under a big tree in the field. Little birds were singing on the branches. The sky was sparkling, and the stars seemed so close that you could almost touch them. Then, suddenly, her grandmother, with whom she used to play games as a child, appeared in front of her. She was dressed in white, with a big smile on her face. When the match girl saw her grandmother, for the first time in her life, her eyes filled with happiness.
"Grandmother!"
she called. Then a star fell from the sky. Just as the little girl was about to make a wish, her grandmother said to her, "When you see a star falling from the sky, know that someone on earth has taken its place, my dear." Then she gently disappeared. The little girl cried out after her grandmother.
Wait! Don't go, Grandma! Please don't go! I miss you so much!
When the match in her hand burned out and turned to ash, she woke up from her dream. Wanting to see her grandmother again, she quickly lit another match with her trembling hands in the cold. As the flame blazed, the snow-covered street was replaced by the small, warm house where her grandmother used to live. The match girl sat down by her grandmother's side, who was sitting next to the stove. Her grandmother was happily teaching her to knit. "Look, this is how you take the stitch, my dear. Pay attention now." The little girl looked at her grandmother's soft, cotton-like hands, which sometimes stroked her head. The scent of those same soft, lavender-scented hands filled her nose. Her grandmother handed her the red gloves she had knitted herself. "These are for you, my dear, so your hands stay warm." The girl put the gloves on her tiny fingers and hugged her grandmother tightly. With that hug, the match girl completely forgot that she was in the street, hungry and alone. Meanwhile, another match had burned out in her hands. When she woke from her dream, she quickly lit another match, then another, and then one more. Each time, she looked longingly into her grandmother's eyes. But she had only one match left. Without thinking, the match girl lit it. In her dream, she was once again in the meadows with her grandmother, but this time, everything seemed even brighter. Her grandmother extended her compassionate hand to the little girl. The love on the girl's face made her grandmother smile too. At that moment, she wished it would never end. She held tightly to her grandmother's hands. When the last matchstick turned to ash, for the first time, the match girl did not wake from her dream. She and her grandmother rose together towards the sky. The little girl suddenly felt very relieved. Now, for her, there was no hunger or cold. She only felt love and peace. At that moment, another star fell from the sky. In the morning, the people passing by found the little girl lying with her eyes closed, but a sweet smile on her face at the base of the wall. At her feet, there were many burnt-out matchsticks. What dreams she had seen in those flames, no one would ever know.